While you can kill any aircraft with any weapon, even firebirds them with dumb rockets if the target's point blank and not changing angle like landing. Even cluster bomb them if you're feeling sassy. That said, you'll find more situations where you'll need weapons that can aim at the target for you, or better yet, guide it onto them. The big boomstick you carry on the side being one of those. It's an 18 size projectile lobbed out, automatically adjusted for elevation and lead, and do a number on helicopters. Now it works best if you get a lock. That means you don't have to focus on targeting as much and you can range more easily. See my linked video about all the stuff, ground inertial tracks, while your scope key is moving, as well as locking and tips for locking aerial targets. For aerial targets, I recommend the tracking gate not be completely tiny, as it'll lose lock a little more often when they change course than if the gate was just the right size. Trying to lock up something by slewing gets hard if they're maneuvering erratically across your screen, while trying to helmet slew lock becomes hard if you're wobbling around erratically and not stable. Which you use when will depend on your hardware setup, how wobbly or not that is for you, the ranges you can see out, so adjust to fit your hardware and conditions. Whenever you lock, have the laser armed so it's already laser ranging. Do note, a jet darting sideways across your view is going to be a lot harder to lock up than one that's banked 90 degrees and showing you a nice large shape. And helicopters will be a little easier to lock up given their slower speed usually. Auto turn can be neat to offload the need to yaw over to face something, but auto turn also does mess a little with trying to helmet slew lock, if that's what you're attempting at the same time. Now, since you're dealing with a flying thing and might lock some random stub wing, the laser can get back funny readings. So just watch the range numbers to see if they're jumping around and if they make sense. Otherwise, relock more center mass. Once that count on the HUD has disappeared after you lock, it's no longer ranging and is only guessing their distance. Often that's correct, but if they're sped up flying straight at you, for example, that ranging may be out as you get closer, so press lock again to re-range just before you open fire. Sometimes helos tank 30mm for days. Sometimes they die one shot. The cannon works best with a laser range lock with AA or moving ground target on, so it calculates the lead and elevation correctly. Now just get the target inside the motion gates on the HUD or those bars on the screen and fire. If the target is beelining straight at you or maybe away, you can possibly hit them at over 4 kilometers. Then again, I've seen them consistently miss a hind from the rear at 2, given the narrow profile. Generally, I'd say wait till you're closer, probably 2Ks. The AI won't react until you actually damage them, but players might start dodging if they see your missed traces running around them. Remember, the cannon rounds are going where the enemy is predicted to be. So if your ranging is out, or if they make a course or speed change, usually all your projectiles in flight will miss. So unless you're close and your shots will hit before their maneuvers relocate them in terms of their relative angle to you, consider waiting for them to settle so your lead is calculated on a stable path, and then use a low rate of fire or single shots while you get in closer. I suspect low rate of fire is maybe more accurate at long ranges, maybe, and conserves ammo. It also limits the recoil you have to compensate for in your piloting. And no, auto turn, even with a nicely aligned INU, won't do everything for you. You will need some pedal work. However, the high rate of fire means more projectiles that could possibly hit the target and spray a row across them, especially if you're ball sighted. Maybe switch to a high rate of fire somewhere under 1.5 Ks if you're approaching head on, as you might not have time to do this in a hurry up close. I've tested AP versus Hi-X, but unfortunately I didn't find conclusive proof which of these types of rounds works better. If you can't get a lock, you can always hold uncaged fall with the helmet sight to target around, or I guess just using the slew hat, and adjust your aim by looking at where the traces and hopefully impacts are going. Hold down uncage if you do this with the helmet, don't just uncage and release, otherwise it might rearrange and change the elevation drastically if it gets a return from the background. You could also bore sight your cannon if you prefer and fly the traces onto the target. See the linked videos for info on that, either bore sighting each fall or just the cannon. Maybe keybind the automatic track and cannon selectors if you plan on switching to this in the heat of combat. Remember, unranged, the cannon is sighted for 1.1 Ks. So, cannon can be very useful against non-threatening helos and can't be spoofed by flares. But you need a lock, and targets maneuvering at range are harder to hit. Up close, it's also a good self-defense weapon. Next up in your air-to-air toolkit, Vickers. This is Volk. Cheers.